One. How you doing, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Press Circle to Pin podcast. Here I am, Bloody Thunder X, or just call me Thunder. Here with CaptainTurbo, just call him Turbo because we are TNT, and we give you all the things that happened in wrestling pay-per-view or event-wise.
WWE only, really.
Yeah, because what else do we know? Well, I know a few things, but anyways,
it's WrestleMania weekend.
Oh man, it was weekend and I'm exhausted.
Yep, we both stayed up last night, if the Twitter feed's anything to go by. Because we were both pretty active last night on Twitter while the show was going on. I am kind of
back and forth.
Yeah, I'm fucking exhausted. I've had 4 hours sleep all night. Oh, fuck, it was a long weekend. But we're not going to be talking about WrestleMania today because, quite honestly, we've got a lot to talk about anyway with NXT and the Hall of Fame, so we're going to do WrestleMania for episode 5, guys.
Yep, so for this episode, we're going to be taking care, of course, of the other events that happened, with Friday being, of course, the NXT Takeover Dallas pay-per-view, event, basically, the biggest NXT TakeOver event because WrestleMania weekend, obviously, absolutely, as well as the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest portion of this podcast today is going to be about the NXT. I've got notes for the Hall of Fame, but it was basically just who inducted who and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So, interesting for me, this is my first NXT experience since the NXT show started way back when it was a stupid reality show thing. So that was cool. So that was pretty cool, actually. This was my first time seeing it since it first started.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so I guess we'll talk about the pre-show. Actually, no matches on the pre-show, but there was a couple
dark events.
I actually did not see any matches. Was there matches?
There were there was none on the pre-show. The pre-show didn't list any, but for the people who were there, they actually had they got to see 2 extra dark matches.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I was actually looking and I couldn't find the fucking shows anywhere, but yeah, apparently there was a couple dark matches, but they did not broadcast them for whatever reason. But
yeah, they didn't show them.
Yeah, but since they didn't show them, we'll not really bother going over them.
Well, I'll just mention real quickly, because why not, for those who are really curious. It was Manny Andrade defeating Christopher Gerrard in a singles match, and for a second singles match, it was Apollo Crews defeating Elias Sampson. Don't know how long the match was, because they were dark, so yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But the pre-show pretty much just consisted of a lot of promo packages for the matches upcoming. Sami Zayn cut a good promo backstage. And a basic look back at last week, I think they said, where they revealed the Dusty Rhodes statue on the NXT,
which was very touching to see.
Yeah,
the guy
it was.
They've been doing the bronze statue since like 2013, and honestly, with having Dusty Rhodes be the statue this year, it's pretty much like one of the biggest bronze statues they've ever had in terms of how much of a legend the guy was. Because I think the first year was Andre the Giant, which of course eventually now is through the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Royal.
Battle Royal?
Good, yes. That's what I mean.
There we go.
And then of course, I think there was also there was the Ultimate Warrior, I think was last year. There was also one other. It was Bruno Sammartino, so.
You think, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, you think they'd just leave that for the people that have passed away? You know, Bruno Sammartino is still around.
Yeah. He's still good. Well, I guess to be fair, the guy is like, he basically was like one of WWE's first ever successes, because he was basically Hulk Hogan before Hulk Hogan. In many ways.
I still think it's a little bit weird to be granting statues to people that are still alive, though. It's just me. It's just a personal pet peeve, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I really don't have much to say about the pre-show. It showed me a lot of stuff. As I said, I don't watch NXT. I probably will start watching it a little bit more, but for instance, I've got here as one of my notes, fucking William Regal! I didn't know this guy was still around, let alone a big part of NXT the way he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting to see. I definitely will at least try and catch a couple episodes, because they actually made NXT look really, really good from a lot of the recaps they did.
NXT, in my opinion, for at least the last year or so, maybe even year and a half now, it's been quite a while. It's just been the best product that's been going under any kind of WWE banner. And by banner, I mean the fact that it's basically a WWE owned
it's still owned
property.
by World Wrestling Entertainment. So
that's what I mean. It just has the best kind of matches. It has like some of the most likable people, and it's just a lot of fun to watch because. We're not gonna lie when I say it. We're getting to this period of age in wrestling where the quality of the match you can deliver adds a lot more to your character. Basically, if you can show just how good you are in the ring, it just makes you more likable. Because back then it used to just be about, okay, well, can you be entertaining on the mic, or can you just at least have the wrestling skills to back up your not existent mic skills? These days, if you have both of those, the fans
set.
will love you to death, pretty much.
Yeah, like I say, I think things like character and mic skills are still very important. But yeah, as Thunder said, if you can get yourself over in the ring, you're gonna have a fan base right off the bat.
Right. And then of course, there's other things to it and other things that happen, but we'll get to that at their respective times.
I really don't have much else to say about the pre-show, to be honest. As I said, it was mainly just recaps and video packages, and of course the panel talking about the matches upcoming, but I really don't have many notes for that unless you do, because if you don't, we can just jump straight into the main show.
I don't really have much to go over about the pre-show because it pretty much was exactly what I was expecting it to be anyways, and I think most people also have the same feeling that it's exactly what they're expecting.
I'm going to be honest, I was expecting at least one pre-show match.
Yeah, I won't lie, I was also feeling the same way.
Which is actually the only reason I bothered watching the pre-show, to be honest, because I thought, alright, there'll be a match here, I need to watch it to make sure I take notes.
Well, that worked out brilliantly, except for the fact that there wasn't.
Kind of wasted, what was about, I can't remember how long I wasted, about an hour or something, I don't know.
Something like that.
It got me pumped to see tonight's show, if nothing else.
Right.
Alright, jump straight into the main show, NXT Takeover Dallas, match number 1.
Woo!
Okay, match number 1, the NXT Tag Team Championship, the American Alpha, the challengers, going up against the Revival for the tag team titles.
I knew I was going to be really excited for this first match because the Revival have shown that they're a very reliable team and can, they've been around in NXT long enough to show that they have some talents there. And then Gable and Jordan as American Alpha, they got so much energy to them, and they're quite over with the crowd because they just have lots of momentum. They have a lot of charisma, energy, and of course we'll get to how they do in the ring.
Yep. First time seeing the American Alphas, I did see the Revival. It was either at Fastlane or Roadblock. I can't remember which one. Roadblock. I was very impressed with them. I thought they very reminiscent of like teams from the early 90s and stuff, and it's nice to have at least one team like that on the roster at the moment. So yeah, very interested to see how this match would go. So the match starts off with Chad and Dawson. I've got here, Chad was the white guy on American Alphas and Dawson's the bald guy.
That works.
For the Revival. That's how I remembered who was who.
Well, it does the job.
Yeah. I've got here some chain wrestling results in some early 2 counts from, I believe, both teams.
Oh, there's one thing I want to point out here. You probably, if you noticed how what they were chanting to the tune of for Gable, right?
Dude, I watched NXT a couple days ago. I'm already forgetting a lot of the stuff that isn't in my notes. Okay,
well, the thing with Gable is that for quite a while now, and they still do it, like they did here at NXT TakeOver Dallas, they'll chant Gable's name to the tune of Kurt Angle's theme.
Oh, I didn't notice that, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think it's because there's a lot of similarities between the two, so...
definitely. The American Alpha is very reminiscent of the world's greatest tag team, which is what Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin were called. Originally Team Angle, but then went on to become known as the world's greatest tag team.
Right.
Very, very reminiscent of that with these two guys. I've got here as my next note. Even though I didn't know what it was they were actually chanting, I have got a very rowdy crowd starting off for the entire pay-per-view here.
The crowd was pretty much hot throughout the entire thing.
Absolutely. They were very rarely sat down and not cheering somebody at least, or making some kind of chant. But yeah, we get some more chain wrestling, and then Jordan gets tagged in.
Yep.
I've got a double backdrops onto the Revival. Nice crossbody onto Dawson from Chad. If you ever want to jump in, just let me know. Just jump straight in with any of your own notes. I don't really care.
My stuff is just mostly more primitive and simple, and I'm just going about, so we're already off to a good start of the match. We're getting these interesting moves like the drop kicks, these suplexes, all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I'm liking this so far, and all this kind of stuff. And there was one moment I like to point out with the match, but we'll wait till it gets up to that point.
The Revival go for a double suplexes. The Alphas deny them that and give them German suplexes of their own.
Yep.
Dash with a big clothesline onto Chad to the outside.
The big one.
Absolutely.
The biggins.
The Revival then work over Chad. I think it was called a gory special into a roll-up.
Something like that. I've lost track.
I was having to pay really close attention to the commentary, and I couldn't always get what they were thinking. One thing I will say, at least these two do actually say the names of the fucking moves. I had to come up with names for certain moves when it came to WrestleMania. Because none of the fucking announce team would call the moves.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking annoying. A double flapjack reverse to a DDT onto the Revival.
Right.
Then there was something akin to the Doomsday device that the Legion of Doom used to do, but it looked a little bit botched, and in fact it was botched because the crowd started chanting "You fucked up" and Botchamania chants. Yeah,
they were trying to set up for the move, and I think he overestimated it a bit, and then just didn't land the spot correctly.
Yeah, it was pretty much the only fuck up in this match, though, so it's forgivable.
Right.
Jason Jordan gets tagged back in, pretty much runs riot over the Revival for a short amount of time. A gut wrench suplex, I think that's what it was, for a 2 count.
Yeah, pretty much, I'd say.
Revival then used the ropes and the towel, but they only got a 2 count. Basically, I can't remember which one. He puts his feet on the ropes, and his tag partner also holds his feet onto the ropes with a towel, for the leverage, I guess. That's never made any sense to me in the terms of wrestling. But yeah, it only gets a 2 count on the American Alpha.
Yeah, about correct.
Yeah, pretty much. Big uppercut to Jordan from Dash, and Dawson gets a 2 count, but it's broken up by Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a nice series of roll-up pin attempts. I can't really tell you how many, but there was quite a few by Chad and Dawson, which is really interesting, and actually very well performed. And then the Alphas get the free count with a double team move, but before I go into the actual finish there was an awkward moment towards the end there, just before the double team move for the free count, where it looked like Dash got a tag on Dawson, but he was on the wrong side of the ring, so whether it counts or not...
Yeah, it was a little strange.
It was weird.
I will also mention too that since you didn't point out they hit the what's called the grand amplitude. That's Gable and Jordan's finisher, the grand amplitude.
Oh, like I said, I must have missed it, and as I said, it's my first time seeing the American Alphas. I wasn't sure what their finishing moves were, so.
They did say it during the pay-per-view, so.
Dude, I've got a lot of notes here. I basically took down what I could, but I also wanted to enjoy the pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, that's kind of... I'm not gonna lie, we are trying to... One of the issues we've been having, going back at our last event streams, is we do talk a bit much, so we're trying to at least get more to the at least important bits.
Yeah. You can also go over your any notes you got?
There was one spot I wanted to mention, which I thought was very clever. It was like, so basically, Dash is knocked down or something or whatever, and Gable is trying to get ready to get to the tag to get to Jordan, but Dash takes the opportunity to crawl under the ring.
Ah, yes, he did, didn't he?
And go over to Jordan and knock him off the top of the ring.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You know, as I said, I think the Revival are very old school in that mentality, and I actually really like them for it. I think I will probably become quite a big fan of those two guys, the Revival.
They've been around for quite a while. They've been just for the longest time. They're just Dash and Dawson or something like that, and then earlier this year they decided to finally get a name for themselves and call themselves the Revival.
Yeah. As I said, I've only seen them twice. I would like to see them more. I'm worried about what they'll do with them when they come to Maine, but we'll go more into that another time. But yeah, for me, this was a fantastic match. Very fast-paced. The crowd were absolutely on fire the entire time.
Yeah, there's not much I can complain about this match. I think it was very well done. So
a really good opener and a really good way to bring in the NXT pay-per-view.
Right.
But yeah, again, first time seeing the American Alphas, both of them are very talented in the ring. Apparently both are actually trained amateur wrestlers as well, from what I heard.
Yeah, they're trained amateur wrestlers, and that's kind of where Gable's getting these angle like the chance to him is because since he was also an amateur wrestler.
My only problem is I can't see either of these two guys at the moment. You know what WWE are like. You know, if a team gets popular, they'll try and split them up. And yeah, I like these two. They're really good in ring. Neither has much character to them right now, though.
This is the thing right now is that I like how with NXT the teams that are popular have been sticking as teams, but of course you always worry when they actually come to the main roster that they'll probably be split up.
It's something that WWE just likes to do with tag teams.
Very much so.
Plus, they'll probably go for the big black guy, just because he's big. They'll try to turn him into the Shawn Michaels of the tag team, I'm guessing. But as I said, I think both of the guys are really talented. Amazingly in ring, you know, both of them are really good at mat wrestling, but both are extremely fast as well. Very reminiscent, as you said, of Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
But again, there's just not much there character-wise. But as we said earlier, if you can get yourself over with your in-ring ability, then you will gain fans anyway. And yeah, I would like to see these two wrestle more. I just don't want to see them break up anytime soon because there's nothing to them to sustain them as a single run yet.
Yeah, I don't see why they would really need to either, to be honest. So,
but yeah, don't you usually rate each match?
I do.
I just got great match.
But I was wondering if you still wanted me to do that since I was the only one who would usually do it. Dude,
it's your thing. If you want to keep doing it, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'd say this was pretty much a solid B+ match to me.
All right, cool. As I said, just for me, great match. Crowd helped it along as well because they were really into it. But yeah, good opening match. It definitely got the crowd pumped.
All the energy.
Oh, the fucking electrifying crowd tonight, absolutely, for pretty much the entire show.
They really helped the show out quite a bit.
Oh, quite a bit, yeah, definitely. But before we go into our second match, we see a couple of people at ringside. Jim Ross is in the crowd.
Yay!
Also, Kota, and I apologize if I butcher this pronunciation, Kota Ibushi?
Kota Ibushi?
Oh, I did get it right then.
No, that's me guessing too.
I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know anything about this guy. The crowd popped for him. I'm guessing he's a huge deal.
Yeah, he's kind of a huge deal.
You know, be interesting to see him when he actually wrestles them.
Right.
Alright, no promos or anything in between, really. There was probably an advert for some shit I don't care about, but I don't take notes of the advertisement, so...
No.
Match number 2, Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries. And my first time seeing Corbin. I did see Aries, but that was in TNA.
Yeah, I was kind of interested in seeing how this match would turn out between the two, and
we'll go into it as we go along. To start off, the promo actually made the match look really good.
Yeah, Baron's been playing his role very well. Like, he's just the guy who's like, I get sick and tired of always seeing this hype about all these quote-unquote indie darlings who are trying to take all the attention away from someone like me who could out-wrestle these fools and something like that.
Something like that. But he was basically in a triple threat, I think, for number 1 contenders spot at the NXT title. Basically, Zayn and Joe both put on their submissions, I believe it was both of those guys.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and he tapped out, so he was basically left out of the rematch because he was the only one that actually lost the match, and he got pissed off. And then Aries made his debut in NXT and basically beat the crap out of Aries. And that's pretty much how this match came around.
Yeah, that's
I said the promo actually didn't make it look bad. I thought it made me quite interested. You know, I liked Aries when I saw him in TNA. Wasn't a huge fan, but I did like him. Never seen Corbin before, so I guess we'll see how the match goes.
Correct.
Alright, so the match starts with a dueling chant, actually, from the crowd. Both of these guys are pretty over to begin with.
Like, Baron came out to, of course, the booze, which works, obviously, but, of course, when it comes to the actual match, you can tell, like, of course...
Oh, by the way, I couldn't fucking stand his jacket that he came out in.
What, Corbin?
Yeah, fucking... It looks so stupid.
It's silly. It looked very silly, yes.
Yeah, I really couldn't stand it. I actually rolled my eyes and went, ugh. That was my legitimate response to that jacket. Couldn't stand the fucking thing.
Ugh. That's a great response to it.
But yeah, as I said, Julian Chan started out with both guys are really over. What I do like is the fact that they actually sort of just go right at each other. There's no like test of strength or anything like that or a lockup. They just pretty much, you know, it's something I mentioned last time. I think it was where you have like a blood feud, but they start off being very technical and stuff. And these two this isn't a blood feud, but they obviously have a bit of a rivalry going. They actually just brawl to start off with, to be honest.
Yeah.
I haven't got that many notes for this, but I'll go through what I've got, and as always, Thunder, just jump in when you've got something to say.
I'll try to. I won't lie, I don't really have a whole lot for this match.
Yeah, neither do I, but a rolling forearm puts Corbin outside to start with.
Yep.
A top rope axe handle to the outside by Aries as well. Mm-hmm. Corbin takes control of the match for a while. Aries...
He did have quite a period of time where he was the guy just putting the smack down on him.
Yeah. Aries gets thrown into the bottom of the post like a fucking lawn dart I've got here. That was actually a pretty cool moment, actually, wasn't it?
It's a great... I've never heard anyone describe it that way before, but hey...
He was launched in there like a horseshoe or something.
I'll give you that, I guess.
Corbin targets Aries' arm/shoulder area with what's it called? The claw something.
Fuck, I feel like an idiot again. I don't remember.
It doesn't matter, but he has that locked in for I want to say about a minute or so, maybe a bit longer.
Right.
I will say for this, my next note here is that Corbin actually does a good job smack talking the crowd throughout the entire match.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the same vein as Charlotte does during her matches. You know, whenever she's in control and the crowd are like trying to get the face or whoever they like back into the match, he'll just completely smack talk them and mock them. It's actually really good. It's a good way to get over as a heel.
Right.
Aries comes back with some chops and a flying forearm. Neck breaker on rope to Corbin. This was actually a lot more interesting than I'm actually making it sound, but I couldn't come up with a different way of saying it. Big flying something from Aries. I muddled that word up there. I'm guessing it was a drop kick, a big flying drop kick from Aries, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Aries goes flying into Corbin outside, into the outside barricade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing this is a big move. Corbin hits the deep six onto Aries outside. Is that like his finisher or something?
No, that's not his major finisher.
A signature move, then.
Yes, it's a signature.
Alright then, so he hits that onto Aries outside. Aries does eventually get back up and just gets into the ring about a 9 count, I want to say.
Right.
You know, Corbin...
I mean, I will admit, deep six, he does use the deep six as a finisher some of the time. It's just usually on more of those meant to be on the lower card, though.
I see. Yeah, he basically goes back in. I think it's one of those I'll be happy with a count out victory sort of things. You know, it makes sense. You know, he's the heel after all.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, Aries gets back in the ring for roughly around the 9 count. He goes for his finishing move, which I believe is called the End of Days.
Yep, End of Days.
Yep, but it's counted into a roll up for free by Aries.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they went for the roll-up win for him. I was thinking he would actually get, like, he'd just recover and just get, like, a main finisher hit on him, but no, I guess I was wrong.
I've got here, okay match, but nothing special.
That's pretty much how I felt. The match was fine. There wasn't anything too wrong with it at all. It's just... it wasn't really anything much, to say the least.
To be fair, we've got 5 matches here, and the fact that we can just say that an average match was the worst match of the night, because I think we can both agree this was the worst match. An average match was the worst. Yeah, the fact that an average match was the worst match of the night is a good testament to how good this show ends up being. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'd say, since I do ratings on it, I would say probably a C for this one.
An average score, but I think my main problem here is, number one, the match was short. It should have had maybe a couple more minutes.
Yeah, it was the shortest match of the night.
Yeah, also, while, like, you and me, you've seen Austin Aries before, I'm guessing.
I have, yes.
You know, we've seen him in TNA and stuff, but the thing is, a lot of people in the TNA crowd, not TNA, in the NXT crowd may have not seen him. A lot of people watching this on the network may have never seen him, so you come in and don't exactly give him a lot of time to do a lot of offense of his own, right. So you don't really get to see how this guy operates in the ring, which was probably a mistake, and it's also one of the few issues I have with the next match, but we'll go into that a little bit later. But yeah, definitely could have done with maybe another 5 minutes and maybe some more offense from Aries.
Pretty much exactly how I feel.
Anything else to add for this match?
Well, I think you pretty much covered up anything I would want to say about it. That's kind of why I don't really have much for notes of anything. It's just because...
Like I said, it was a perfectly serviceable match, but there really wasn't much to talk about here. Yeah.
It's just, I think, though, I just kind of wish they did more with Aries rather than... Because the guy's capable of a lot of great things, but...
he had some really good matches in TNA.
I just feel like they may have gone too easy to just try to take it easy with him. I think.
I think, like I say, it's his debut match and rivalry in NXT. So maybe plenty of things to come for him yet. We don't really know at the moment.
Right.
I think I'm going to take an approach of wait and see what they do with Aries. To be honest, because. By the look of WrestleMania, I won't say much here. It looks like Corbin might be getting called up to main, so he may not be on NXT much longer.
Yeah, he's been in NXT for a little while. I think. Let me see. How long has he been there for? Oh wow, he's been there even longer than I thought.
Isn't it 3 years or something like that?
Yeah, his first NXT match was May 2013.
Yeah, I remember hearing that somewhere online last night. But yeah, if this rivalry continues, I think they'll probably end this. Corbin will go to main, but I think they'll give
of course, we'll get into more information about why that might be happening.
Yeah, definitely later. But I think there's plenty of fairies to come yet in NXT, but I guess they just wanted to start him off with a small program like this. Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, no real transition to the next match. Again, probably just a commercial. Unless you've made note of it, I haven't. But match number 3, Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. My first time seeing this guy. I've seen Sami Zayn before, and I saw Shinsuke for the first time tonight.
I knew, as soon as I knew they were doing the announcing match, I was like, okay, I gotta watch some matches of Shinsuke here. I gotta see just why people love the guy so much. And then after I did, I was like, oh boy, I'm excited for this match.
Yeah, the only thing I saw this guy was the promos early on the pre-show. But I had to admit, I was pretty pumped for this match when I saw those. So that was a nice thingy. Before the match even begins, we actually see at ringside is Scott Hall and Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac.
Which I thought was pretty cool to see, because, you know, it's just some cool dudes to see.
They do this a couple times during the night. There's a couple that are noteworthy that we will bring up later.
Right.
But yeah, nice to see that they're at least paying attention to people in the crowd as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn comes out to a pretty big reception. Still love this guy's music.
Oh yeah, oh his music's just
a lot
of fun to just
very suiting for him. It's very suiting for him, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
As I said last, and I'm not gonna say anything until we get to the end of the match. Last month, as I mentioned, I think it was at Roadblock, I was not impressed by Sami Zayn in his match against Stardust. But
it wasn't a match that could show off his best potential.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes from here. Anyway, after Sami comes out, we get Shinsuke Nakamura coming out to a very, very nice piece of music, by the way.
And the pop for him was just literally off the fucking charts.
And out comes if Michael Jackson had become a professional wrestler.
Yeah. Well, he does have a similar hairstyle, so.
And holy shit chants start while the two guys are in the ring. The match hasn't even started at this point yet. And then after the holy shit chants, we get some Jewel chanting from the crowd as well. Then the yes chants. And then finally, after about a minute of these chants, the two finally get on the way.
They just had to sink in the moment, because it's just...
Oh, absolutely. As I said, I wasn't pretty impressed last month by Zayn. I've never seen Nakamura before, but I was fucking hyped for this.
I was thinking in my head, this would be the match that you definitely get to see. You'd definitely change your mind about Sami Zayn.
And I did, but again, I'll go into that at the end of the match.
Right.
So I'll just go along with my notes here. Whenever you want to jump in, just go ahead.
I'm gonna try to. It's been a while since I've seen the events, and my memory is as good as a goldfish sometimes.
Alright, we got some mind games from Nakamura to start with. Apparently something he does a lot.
Yep, something he's done quite often.
We get several tie-up exchanges from both men as well. Some pretty decent wrestling to begin with. Zayn does manage to out-wrestle Nakamura, taunts him for a little while, and the crowd, I've also got here, the crowd have been completely rowdy for this entire match. This is about 2 or 3 minutes into the match, and they have not fucking calmed down yet.
No.
They are so fucking pumped. This is like Rock Hogan at Mania 18 or something, with how loud they're
being. Did you say Rock Hogan?
Rock Hogan at Mania 18.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah.
The crowd were on their fucking feet for most of that match.
It took me a second to realize that you were saying both of their names.
Yeah, I was just saying their names together. I wasn't saying Rock and Hogan. I was saying Rock Hogan, as in Rock / Hogan.
Yes.
Nice enziguri by Nakamura, and a massive roundhouse kick to Zayn by him as well.
I'll give you that. I'm gonna say I'm glad you actually say it like enziguri, because I've heard so many people say it incorrectly.
I've been watching wrestling a long time. I know how to pronounce enziguri.
I know. I understand. Don't worry.
I can understand someone who's never watched wrestling before and then sees the word and they might say like enziguri or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zayn with a snap suplex then takes control of the match. Nakamura brings Zayn outside with a painful-looking knee drop on the back of the neck. I think he had him on the ring rope at this point.
Something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, back inside, a big knee from Zayn. A big knee to Zayn, who was laid across the turnbuckle. So that might be what I was thinking of right there. And Sammy hits a big senton to the outside to Naka, and the two are back inside for a 2 count after another crossbody from Zayn. Zayn then pulls out the Michinoku driver for a 2 count.
That was something.
Yeah, I haven't seen that move in a very long time.
The one thing I will point out is that even at this point in the match, you could already just tell, like, this guy hits so many knee attacks so often, and he hits them so damn fast. Oh yeah,
I haven't made much mention of it. But yeah, when Naka hits you, it looks like it hurts.
Oh, he looks pretty stiff when he hits it.
But speaking of hits...
And by stiff, I mean, yeah, he hits it hard.
Speaking of hits, the two trade blows, and the crowd are yesing just every time they trade a blow. I like the fact that they both sort of get tired about halfway through these things, so they just sort of both stand there taking a quick breather and looking at each other and then start again.
That was like the thing I really liked about the whole thing, was the fact that they were going so long that they actually were showing signs of fatigue.
Yeah. During these exchanges of blows, it also looks like Naka's nose got busted open. Well, he wasn't bleeding proficiently, but you could tell it was bleeding at least a little bit. Probably just probably not a broken nose, but probably...
No, it's just a little bit of blood. It wasn't anything too serious.
But yeah, the crowd were cheering and clapping during this entire exchange. You know, they were really into...
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Naka takes control for a little while until a big clothesline from Zayn. Naka comes back with a big armbar on Zayn, which gets a big pop. The armbar is then turned into a triangle hold for Naka, I believe.
I believe so.
And I apologize if I get this wrong. Zayn hits a Koji clutch. I think it was a submission move, but I couldn't. As I said, I was trying to enjoy the show, so I was paying partial attention to the commentary.
I think that's why I don't really have any notes or anything. I just wanted to enjoy it.
As I said, it was hard to always catch the name of moves and stuff, so...
Yes.
I don't know
if
that's correct.
It is in fact called a Koji clutch.
Oh, good. The Koji
and it is spelled exactly the way you think it is. I'm sorry.
I can't spell for shit anyway, so I've probably spelled it incorrectly, but...
No. Koji clutch.
Oh, I haven't got it spelled that way, but fuck Koji. Fucking fuck Koji. If you're wondering what we're talking about Brawlhalla for Steam. Fuck that fucking character and his fucking bow. Especially when Paris is using him.
Alright, we better
anyway,
focus on the actual event.
The Koji clutch is turned into a pin attempt from Naka. Then the crowd start chanting one of my favourite chants ever, actually, "Fight Forever."
I really wanted them to fight forever. I was like, if this whole event was just them fighting throughout the entire thing, that would be my money sold right there.
Zayn versus Nakamura 60-minute Iron Man match. Book it.
Please book it.
If not, that's what wrestling games are for. Create your own universe. Fuck that.
Yes, it'd be like the third Iron Man match. It'd probably be the third Iron Man match. I would probably say would probably instantly go to my favorite. My first favorite, of course, is Michaels versus Hart, and then my other favorite, it was Angle versus Lesnar in SmackDown in 2003.
Basically, just because it was my first pay-per-view ever, I would actually say Triple H Rock was my favorite. But
that one too.
That was because Judgment Day 2000 was my first pay-per-view I watched live, so...
You watched a pretty good time.
Oh yeah, I watched a very good show. But,
anyways.
Not long after the chant
starts...
Actually,
now that I think about it, that's something we could do. We could do, like, reviews.
It's something I was going to talk to you about anyway after we're done here, but I'll go into that more when we're off microphone.
Right.
Anyway, not long after this, we get a blue Thunderbomb from Sami Zayn for a 2 count.
Correct, you got it right.
Yes, I got that right. Because it's not the only time they say it, thankfully, because they also say it several times. He kicked out, sort of thing.
Yeah. Kick out at 2.
This
just
move,
like John Cena.
Yeah, this move, I don't actually know the name of. It's where Sammy jumps through the turnbuckle ropes.
I think it's like some kind of DDT he does.
But I think they actually called it something, but I didn't catch the name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because obviously I saw it, and he's done it so often, so it's pretty much like a signature move.
Yeah.
I know they call it something, and it's just
yeah, we apologize, guys. It's why we don't always catch names of certain moves and signatures and finishers and stuff like that. But either way, the move is actually denied as Naka kicks Sami Zayn straight in the fucking noggin. So
yes,
he's just sort of dangling there over the bottom rope with half his body hanging outside. It's actually pretty fun to see.
Right.
The two go back into the ring, exchange a couple of moves and stuff for a little while, and then Naka jumps off the top rope, hits Zayn in the back of the head with one. Sorry about this, guys. The video stopped for a second there, so I got cut off mid-sentence. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So Nakamura jumps off the top rope, hits Zayn in the back of the head with a knee. And then he hit something. Sorry?
A knee, yeah.
A knee, yes. Or with his knees. I couldn't really tell the camera where it wasn't pretty good. Yeah. It wasn't great for that part. Then he hits a kick called the Shin something. I did not get...
Kinshasa?
It might have been that. But I didn't catch it.
It's the move that finished the match, right?
Yeah, basically he gets the kick.
Yes, it used to be known as the Bomei or something. The Bomei, when he was in New Japan and Ring of Honor, but coming to NXT, they changed the name to Kinshasa.
I don't know why, but whatever, it sounds cool. It looked
it's
cool.
The same move, though, so...
gets the free count for Naka. Fucking amazing match right here.
Oh, my God, this match was...
Absolutely
out of every
incredible.
Match I've seen this year, this has got a huge advantage so far. There's gonna have to be a lot of work for another match to try to match this. This was incredible.
I mentioned last month, as I said, Zayn did not impress me in the match with Stardust. That was completely turned around here. Zayn was so fucking impressive in this match. I was really into him for this as well, and it just... I guess maybe it was a bad night, or maybe it's just the fact that he wasn't given chance to do much offense against Stardust. But unfortunately, I do have one complaint with this match, which is actually the same as that I just mentioned. Zayn was in control for the majority of the match, and I didn't actually get to see all that much offense from Naka, apart from a couple strikes and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. Naka did have quite a bit of offense in there at times.
I don't know if his strong kicks in that are only he does, but it felt like I was only seeing maybe half of what he can do. I don't know. It's only a minor complaint. It was still a fantastic match. Don't get me wrong. I felt like I was missing out on something from Nakamura.
Yeah, you know, everyone has views on it, so I'll give you that.
I'll see him in more matches coming up, so I'll be able to see if he has more to offer yet.
The thing you mentioned earlier, when it showed Kota Ibushi in the crowd, the reason I mentioned he was kind of a big deal was because, and I wanted to mention this around this point anyways, he and Nakamura had a match at the beginning of last year that was basically Wrestling Observer Newsletter gave it a 5-star match and also named it the Match of the Year.
Oh, cool.
So basically that's why I said he was kind of a big deal. He's also had a 5-star match with another Japanese great, Hiroshi Tanahashi. It was same year, but later on during the summer. Mm-hmm. And he's been 2 years running named the most charismatic. He was the Wrestler of the Year for 2014, and he was put into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame class of 2015.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
And he also has a 3-1-1 record in mixed martial arts.
Interesting, but yeah, I'm guessing. Before we go into that, after the match, both men shake hands and hug in the ring. Very respectful and very got the crowd to make another big pop.
It was nice to see that they actually did that.
It was nice.
I was afraid that something like that wouldn't have happened, but
yeah, it's a good thing of a face versus face. You know, there was no need for a heel turn or anything like that.
Yeah, so I don't think I really need to explain my rating. Do you?
Nakamura leaves, but the crowd do give a thank you Sammy chant, because I'm guessing they know he's heading to the main roster now.
Yeah, he was for a long time called the heart and soul of NXT, and he's been there for a while, and they're pretty much going to be making the big push for him to be on the main roster now.
I will say though, this, as you said, I don't think I need to guess your rating for this, because quite honestly put, I love this match. Sammy, I finally got why Sammy was such a big deal. And I said, despite my my complaint, I was very impressed with Shinsuke Nakamura as well. So great match for me, and I'm guessing it was like a. Well, you give me your rating for the match.
That was a solid A.
If I did it the same as you, yeah, I'd say A minus at worst. It was an A overall anyway. It was a fantastic match.
Yes.
Wow, you know, it kind of felt like blowing your load a little bit early, though.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to be a while to clean up now. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was bad.
We get our first backstage promo here. Nothing much, just see Samoa Joe getting ready for his title match a little bit later.
Something like that.
Yeah, nothing really the major to speak of. I'm surprised they even bothered, to be honest. Anyway, match number 4. NXT Women's Championship, Bayley versus Asuka. The first time for me seeing both of these ladies.
Boy. I'm hoping you enjoyed it.
We get a similar package to the one we saw earlier in the pre-show. Still a great promo package to get you pumped up for the match. Before the match even begins, or I should say even before the First Lady comes down, we do get a shot of Stephanie in the crowd, to heavy boos, by the way, as soon as she's on camera.
Yep.
Out comes Asuka first. Very colourful. She's got a very colourful getup, I'll give her that.
Correct.
And then out comes Bayley. By the way, love her coat. Think it's fucking awesome.
Oh, she has a great coat.
Yeah, and the wacky waving, inflatable arm waving two men made me absolutely laugh my ass off when I saw them.
Oh, that's a common thing of her
her entrance, I'm guessing. Yeah, it made me laugh. I've never seen it. So yeah, before the match starts, the crowd start chanting, "Will you be my girl?" I think to Bayley.
It's like some sort of song thing that they sing at her very often. So
fair enough. And the match actually starts. We get some good chain wrestling to start from both. I mean, very back and forth for the first couple minutes, I believe. Nice crossbody from the top rope from her 2 count from Bayley.
Yep.
Asuka goes for I get, and again I apologize if I'm gonna butcher the word the correct terminology for it, but Asuka goes for the Fuji bar armbar. Something like that. Bayley manages to power through and get to the bottom rope to break it up. We get a nice bottom rope springboard elbow from Bayley.
Excuse me.
It's fine.
I'm still a little tired, so...
Dude, if I can get through it, you're going to get through it as well, if I have to come over there and smack you.
Well, that's a bit foul-hearted now, isn't it?
4 fucking hours sleep, dude. 4 fucking hours.
Oh, boo.
We can then get a Hurricane Rana from Bayley for a 2 count. Gets a guillotine choke on Asuka. I can't remember how long that lasts. Again, saw this match a couple days ago, so I apologize.
I'm still tired, which is why I can't think of much to say right now. I apologize.
Amazing headlock Hurricane Rana through ropes onto the outside to Asuka as well. Basically, Bayley Asuka's on the outside. Bailey runs the ropes, slides out as if doing a baseball slide, but locks her legs around Asuka and basically hits a Hurricane Run. I thought it looked fucking perfect.
Pretty much.
Asuka goes into the zone, very much Shamrock style. Very much Ken Shamrock style, and gets a bunch of kicks and drop kicks on.
You know, I never thought about Ken Shamrock style until now. Thanks for that.
Well, that's what they used to call it, wasn't it? When he screamed and got really pissed off, he'd just go into the zone.
Something like that. I can't remember.
I remember it.
That kind of period of time. This is why we're going to need to do a thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, as I said, after the thing.
Yes.
Some more back and forth for a while, and then we get the "This is awesome" chant from the crowd.
Which is always nice to see.
Definitely. A strike reversed into...
It's just nice to see that we've gotten to the point in women's wrestling now
absolutely.
Where you can say, this is awesome.
Yeah, when I was... before I started my period of taking breaks between wrestling, like, it would have been... I want to say around mid-2013 was when I first started taking breaks. Women's wrestling was essentially shit like... Naomi versus Nikki Bella on Raw.
Well, Naomi's not a bad wrestler, and Nikki had gotten better over the past year. I mean,
no, 2013, dude. 2012, 2013. Yeah. You know, this was back when they were still sucky, and compared to the NXT women, they still kind of suck by comparison, even now.
Well, except for a few of them.
I'm going to disagree on that, but yeah... To go from very poor Divas matches on Raw to this is unbelievable, and you know, the "This is awesome" chant are worth it. You know, this isn't something the crowd just gives them. They fucking work for the chants that they get here.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
3 years ago, you wouldn't be chanting that to a women's match. Now you would, because that's just how much better it's gotten.
I would say the only time I can remember actually enjoying a women's match over the last couple of years, before I came back and started doing this podcast and watching a lot more, was the couple of the Paige AJ matches.
Yes.
They weren't great, but they were good compared to what was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And both women were really good wrestlers. I think it was just more of a... lack of chemistry probably between the two, but we'll go into that another time, I guess. Right. Yeah, "This is awesome" chant for a while. A strike's reversed into a knee bar from Bailey. Knee lock, knee bar, I don't know what the hell to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Asuka gets an arm bar. Bailey reverses it into a roll up for a 2 count. Bailey then goes for the... Is it called the Bailey to Belly?
It could be.
I think that's what the announcer called it. Which is basically just a belly-to-belly suplex. But it gets blocked by Asuka. Asuka with the Asuka lock. Bailey attempts to get to the rope but fails. She's locked in it for, I'd say, a little bit over a minute, and she passes out, which gives Asuka the win via, what would it be, TKO, I guess?
A TKO submission?
Not really a submission if you don't tap, I guess.
Yeah, but, you know...
But yeah, Asuka wins the NXT Women's Championship. I'll let you go first, I guess.
Well, this match definitely just shows how much it's just improved. Like you mentioned earlier, there's just so much chemistry. There was a lot of chemistry between the two. It's just you had two of the best women in the company, wrestling wise, in my opinion, Bailey and Asuka. They're just. I mean, her, and then of course there's another one who's on the main roster. Those three, and I'll mention who the other one is when we get to WrestleMania. They just set a whole new bar for wrestling, for women's wrestling, and it's just so nice to see that we're now at this time where it's finally it's no longer about bra and panties, and it's no longer about calling them divas.
It's no longer
which again we'll also get into for WrestleMania.
It's no longer where you use the women's match as a piss break.
Nope, not any longer.
If anything, you rush back from the piss break so you can watch these matches.
If you need a piss break, just take it during a Roman Reigns promo.
You take it during the Roman Reigns promo, you're going your cup if you have to. Hell, if you have to, you let the fucking thing dribble down your leg and you run back from the toilets. But for me, first time seeing both these women, I'm going to be honest, I would have preferred to see them go a little bit longer, maybe another 5 minutes. it felt a little bit short for me, this match.
It could have been a little longer.
I would have also liked to have seen probably Bayley in the hold for a bit longer, but I actually did like the finish, and I actually really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a great match.
Right.
I have nothing to say. I've had nothing but good things to say for the most part about the women's division since we started the podcast. And I absolutely just loved it. I've become a big Bayley fan in one match. I also like Asuka. Not sure what her character's supposed to be yet, but in-ring wise, she was fantastic.
Yep.
But I don't really have a whole lot more to say. What did you say your rating for this match would have been?
I'd give him to B+. Would have been a little higher, but I feel the same way. The match could have been just a little bit longer.
Yeah, it felt a little bit short. It probably was about 15-20 minutes long, but I don't know. I get the feeling that the NXT Women's Championship matches should not be short matches. They should be long, drawn out. Well, not drawn out, but long, hard-fought battles.
Right.
Because, again, I still haven't seen it. I want to see this 30-minute Iron Man match between Bayley and Sasha Banks, so I will sit down and watch it. I promise. I just don't know when.
It'll be someday.
It will be someday. Nothing backstage from what I can remember. If there was, I didn't make note of it. But match number 5, the NXT Championship, Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. And it's my first time seeing Balor, I believe.
You already know it's not my first, but...
Yeah, obviously I've seen Joe in at TNA like I did with Aries, so...
Yes. Samoa Joe, I think, was in the only ever 5-star TNA match, I think
Kurt
he
Angle?
was also... No, I think it was a 3-way match, because I think
it was AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels.
Yes, that was it. Joe, Styles, and Daniels.
Those three had really good fucking chemistry. They made TNA interesting to watch for quite a while.
Yeah, it's just a shame that, well, everything else.
Well, Joe and AJ are now in WWE, and I don't know where the fuck Christopher Daniels is.
I don't either. Oh, shit.
But before the match even begins, we get to see someone else outside in the audience. Bobby Roode, another TNA turncoat.
Crowd literally was like, "Oh my god!"
I've seen some of Bobby Roode. He was actually a pretty good character and wrestler for TNA. It's a shame they let him go.
Yeah, but let's be real. Like, TNA doesn't even know what they're doing. They're just lucky to even be holding on to strings at this point.
Which is going to be something we talk about when we get to WrestleMania.
Oh boy.
Samoa Joe comes out first. Not a fan of his theme, I'm going to be honest. Then out comes Finn Balor looking like Carnage from Spider-Man with a chainsaw.
He was pretty. Yeah, he was pretty. It's like, oh my god, it's a chainsaw. Sorry.
Pretty much. He gets in the ring. A dual chant starts up right off the bat, and this match, I will say, it was hype. It was the promo for this was actually really interesting leading in because, again, much like the Aries and Corbin match, it showed both guys having a bit of a rivalry going, but with these two it was even worse. So I'm so happy to see that they didn't tie up. They just fucking went at each other like two people that hated each other right as soon as that bell rang.
Yep, that was just the best way to take it.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Very fast start. Joe gets busted open almost immediately in this match.
Mm-hmm.
They trade punches, and it looks like Joe's eye, or really close to his eye, gets busted open, and he's pissed in blood for quite a while. Yeah,
like it was during the headbutting that they were doing. Like at one point, I guess he hit one. I thought it was
a punch, but never mind.
No, it was. They mentioned it was a headbutt that caused him to open up.
All right, but yeah, it's really close to his eye. We'll go more into that a little bit later. But Joe goes to the outside. Finn does the senton to him outside. This is basically, I think, so they can have a quick moment rest, so Joe can have his cut tried to take care of by the refs, who basically just give him a towel, but it doesn't help for very long.
No.
Finn is then beaten up for a while by Joe and then sent right over the railings. Again, this is just a time stalling thing so Joe can get the cut checked again.
Right.
Joe launches himself outside the ring into Finn. Once again, Joe's eye gets checked, and I think the fans are starting to get a bit pissed now because they're booing big time, shouting PG sucks, let Joe bleed, stuff like that. And to be fair, Joe actually looks pissed off that they're constantly stopping the match for this. You know, anyone that watches Joe knows that he's very much a tough guy. He will fucking wrestle if his head's hanging off, his fucking body.
Yeah.
I'll go into this now because I don't want to leave it till the last minute in case I forget. I can understand why they needed to do this. I honestly think if this cut had been anywhere else on his body, they might not have bothered as much, but because it was so close to his eye, I think they couldn't risk it.
Yeah, because it's the spot of where it was. Like, it could, if not taken care of, it could be it could be pretty serious. So I understood why it happened. They were doing that.
Yeah, had it been on his forehead, his arms, his legs, his back, whatever, I don't think they would have made a big fuss. But because of the spot it was on, as Thunder said, you can understand why they had to take care of it. Not saying, it definitely took away from the match for me, but I understood why they did it, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's because you don't want anything serious to happen to these people when they're wrestling, so...
Joe slams Finn hard into the mat and locks on the submission. It's sort of, I can't remember the name of it. He basically sticks his knee into Finn's back and holds both his arms out. It's actually a very simple submission. I just could not remember the name of it. Joe gets in control, once again has his eye checked, and this is where the fuck PG chant comes in.
Right.
Joe stays in control for quite a while before finally getting a 2 count after a move. Finn then gets some control back, hits some big chops, sends Joe outside, and then a big baseball slide from Finn. Back in the ring, a big belly to belly from Joe, or maybe a Bailey to belly if you want to call it that.
Boy, is this going to be a recurring theme now?
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
Another senton to Finn for a 2 count from Joe. Not off the ropes or anything, just sort of splashes on, uses that weight of his to try and get the win. Joe back in firm control at this point. A powerbomb only gets a 2 count, so still holding on to him. He turns it into a Boston Crab, which is actually a very nice move there by Samoa Joe. That then gets turned into a crossface from Joe as well. He just sort of reverses his own move. Finn does a bit of a comeback, gets the double stomp with his feet. I think that's why it's called the double stomp, I'm not sure.
Something like that.
Yeah. Joe goes for the muscle buster, gets it, but only gets the 2 count. I don't think this got the reaction it deserved from the crowd. I think they should have been a bit more shocked by this. I don't know if his muscle buster's been made a big deal in NXT or not.
I don't recall, to be honest.
But it is supposed to be one of his finishers, so the fact that it only gets a 2 count is actually a big deal. But yeah, shots traded by both men. Finn's foot, I think that's what they called it, connects. Both men go down. Top rope double stomp this time. But there's no pin attempts as far as I can remember. Joe gets a sleeper hold on Finn, but Finn actually manages to use the turnbuckle to his advantage to basically turn Joe over, who's still got the move locked in, and he manages to get the 3 count that way.
Yep.
Solid match. I do have a few issues I'll bring up, but I'll see what you think first.
Well, I think... The game, what the hell? The match probably would have been a little bit more than what we got if it wasn't for the cut, honestly. But you can't really control these things. These things just kind of happen at times, so it's not like it really bothered the crap out of me or anything. You just can't, sometimes you just kind of can't help these things.
Absolutely.
So I just said, you know what? That it is what it is. You can't, and you just gotta let it be sometimes.
So what did you say your grade was?
I'd say this was probably a B.
For me, I thought the overall match was perfectly good. The constant having to check Joe's eye, understandable, but it did draw away from the match. I also have a feeling that because they couldn't really get the cut under control, I think they probably ended this match early.
Yeah.
I get that feeling just from this. I think this was probably meant to go at least another 10 minutes or so, but due to the cut, they didn't want to take any risks, which, again, is actually understandable and admirable in a way, but it did kind of hurt the match in the end, but I still thought it was a good match.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was it. There was only 5 matches, but we are done with NXT Takeover Dallas. So, Thunder,
Woo!
What is your overall grade for this pay-per-view?
I'd say this was about a B plus to me.
B plus to you?
There was just a lot of really good matches. Like, none of the matches were bad at all. They're all exciting to watch, and there's just a lot of good things about them.
I'm actually going to be a little bit more fair. I give it a minus.
Oh, hey! For once, you're the one giving more praise.
Yeah, I actually really like this pay-per-view, top to bottom. I said the only match we didn't care for was an average match, and when you can say your worst match is an average match, you've got something special going, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, for you, actually, let's reverse it. What was your moment of the night first?
Okay, the moment of the night I would want to say was, because I didn't expect it was going to happen, I was a bit surprised of this, was Bayley passing out.
Great minds think alike, buddy.
Like, because Bayley, for the longest time, has always been viewed as, like, being
the John Cena of the women's division.
Oh no! Well, the thing is, she's insanely likable.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, completely over by practically everyone. Not like John Cena, but I just mean in terms of hard to beat and the overall character just being.
Just a really good role model, and they're insanely likable, basically.
Yeah.
And it was just surprising. Like, she never gave up, but she couldn't take the pain too much longer and passed out, giving Asuka the title.
I've actually got the exact same. Bayley passes out and loses. I like the fact that they did it here. I think the move should probably have been locked in about another 30 seconds to a minute, though. But and it is kind of seen as a overused moment where people will pass out. I think they did it when Rusev was taking on all of America, and none of America would willingly tap out to his move, which really pissed me off. Actually, they had. Did Jack Swagger pass out instead of tapping out or something? Or Kane, Big Show, something like that. But,
I remember.
It's kind of overused, and when it's used like that, it doesn't work. But when you've got someone who's a overwhelming, loved face like Bayley, not willing to tap out and would rather pass out, it works how it's supposed to work.
Yes.
Alright. Match of the night.
Do I really have to answer this?
Well, just to make sure we're...
Okay, it was clearly Corbin versus... No, it wasn't. It was Zayn versus Nakamura.
Yeah, I've got the exact same thing. Fantastic match. Definitely, I think the women's title match comes a very close second. Well, not very close, but a close second. But yeah, this was an outstanding match.
Exactly.
Alright, one more to go. You're a superstar of the night.
Nakamura.
Although,
actually, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me make sure. I want to say Nakamura, but now I'm actually thinking about it again. You know what? I love you, Nakamura, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back on that. Because I thought about that a bit too fast. The more I think about it, the more I think I'm gonna give it to Sami Zayn.
Alright, my superstar of the night, Dean Ambrose.
No, come on.
I'm kidding. I can't give it to him when he's not even on the fucking show. My superstar of the night was Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I
was about to say you're just really going as far for this Dean Ambrose thing. I mean, he wasn't even.
I was taking the piss.
I know.
I didn't get it last month. I didn't get the love this guy had. Tonight, completely did a 180 on that. saw why people loved him. Within the space of, 20 minutes, I fell in love with this guy's in-ring ability, his overall character. Nakamura did a fantastic job as well. As I said, I've already mentioned my few drawbacks I had with the match. Probably get to see more of him soon, so I'll be happy with that. But Zayn, I am actually really looking forward to seeing again in the ring at some point in the future. Did a fantastic job tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, we both agreed on everything there.
How about it?
Yeah, we both gave the same awards to everything. I think that's the first time that's happened. We've had times where we've agreed once, I think even twice, but not on all three.
We all think alike in the end.
Yep. Now, obviously we have a second part coming up. We're going to do the Hall of Fame. Just a quick recap, really, of what happened. We are not going to go into as much depth as we did here. But we have coming up before that our Trivia Challenge.
That oh my god.
Right, we get, basically what we do is we test each other's knowledge on WWE history, stuff like that. We don't go outside WWE, obviously, even though we've both watched stuff outside of it, we know this company better than we know anything else, so we try to keep it fair that way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we try to keep it after, like, 1985, like the first WrestleMania. Anything before that's a little bit unfair.
Right.
Now,
although that means I'd have to change my easy question, which is fine because I can do that very quickly.
That's fine. That's fine. Just, whatever. But I'll ask first because I know you only had one question when we started this, so I'll go first, and you've still got a bit of time to think. Then.
No, I already got it. It was just a very slight edit that I could make to it. So.
All right, fair enough. Now,
I think I've been going first the last times we did this. I think you should start it first.
All right, fair enough. But I'm just gonna say, I think we're currently tied at 6 apiece. I think 7, 6, 7, something like that.
I think we did something like that.
No, I think it's 5 apiece. Sorry,
5-1, something like that.
We've both only got one question wrong from each other, so nobody's got a lead right now. So you want me to ask first, or are you?
I'd say you should go first because I think I went first last time, both times.
All right. Question 1. Who beat Sable for the Women's Championship in 1999?
Who beat Sable? Well,
who ended Sable's streak as Women's Champion?
Yeah, Sable in 1999. Oh boy, those were some times.
I'll give you the rough estimate. It wasn't long following WrestleMania 15.
Long following WrestleMania 15.
No, not long following WrestleMania 15.
Right. Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to remember around that period of time. Wasn't it Deborah?
Is Deborah your final answer?
Yeah. I think Deborah won the title, and I think it was an evening gown match. And the thing is, I think Sable technically won the match, but Commissioner Shawn Michaels ruled that the woman who lost her dress was the one who had lost her dress was the winner, which meant that Deborah won.
You are 100% correct.
Hey.
And yes, Shawn Michaels says...
I guess binge watching Raw 1999 does help after all.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels came out, who was the commissioner at the time, as he said, came out and said, I think whoever gets stripped of their clothes is the winner here. So Deborah was basically given a run with the Women's Championship back in the day.
Yeah. Anyway.
Fucking stupid, but... Anyway, well done. 6 points to you so far, then.
Alright, so my easy question here is... it doesn't take much to think about it. Who is the longest reigning United States champion in WWE history?
Now, you're just talking WWE, right?
WWE only.
Alright, let me think. And just give me a minute to think as well. Alright, title was introduced in 2002, I want to say.
I think so. It was somewhere around there.
It was 2003, 2002, 2003. It was one or the other.
Yes.
Actually would have been 2003 because Eddie Guerrero won it first.
Yeah, I think you were right. It was probably 2003. Or at least for the WWE incarnation of the title. Yep, July 2003.
Won it in the
Eddie
tournament,
Guerrero was the first champion.
Oh, fuck.
Of course, the reason I say WWE because the longest reign was during when it was in WCW. So
Yeah, of course. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I could get that, but
yeah,
we don't do WCW anyway. So, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a minute to think here. So, I've got one name coming to mind, but I don't know if it's correct.
okay.
Let me just go over the champions again in my head. And if I right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go with it. There's been quite a lot of long US title reigns. That's the problem.
Yeah. To be fair, the person who has the longest ring doesn't have it by many days. Like, the person with the second most only had it at, like, probably, like, 7 or 8 days less.
Right, I'm gonna take my guess here. I'm guessing you've got the list up of former champions.
Yeah, like, I already knew who's held it long just before even looking the list up. So,
Right.
like, it was something I already knew.
All right. Well, if I'm wrong, at least tell me where this guy is on the list.
Okay.
MVP.
Oh, he's the second longest.
Oh fuck!
MVP held the title for 343 days. The longest title holder in WWE is Dean Ambrose. He held it for 351 days.
Shit! I knew Ambrose had held it. I didn't realize he'd held it for that long. Damn it!
Yeah, to be fair, his reign was very forgettable because I don't think they made him defend it very often for some reason.
He defended it, maybe 4 or 5 times during that entire reign.
Yeah, like I don't know what they were I don't know what they were trying to go for with that ring. So.
All right. Well, you're in the lead, 6-5. All right.
That won't last.
I got another 1999 question here.
Jeez, you really like 1999.
I didn't actually come up with this. This was something the first question I had planned to ask you. So,
okay.
This was the first one I came up with. What was the main event of Rebellion 1999? And the reason I asked this question is because last time you asked me a question about it being hosted in Canada, and since Rebellion 99 was hosted in England, I felt this was only fair.
Well, I guess you have a fair reason to ask that.
And I want the entire full match here. What was it? The main event.
Okay. Rebellion.
Oh, by the way, we're also working on the honor system here. We're not allowed to use internet for help or anything like that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I'm just saying for people.
I'm not gonna lie. I think this is an easier question than the first one.
You're joking.
Yes, I'm joking. Except I'm not.
Go on then. What was the main event?
Okay, I know when in 1999 this took place, so I know Triple H was the champion going into the match.
I'll give you that. It was Triple H as champion.
I'm just trying to remember, because it's 1999. It's October 1999.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
I'm not.
I think I've had like a lot of matches on that thing too, but I don't remember how many, of course. So.
You mean the actual pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Actually,
I think I had like 10 matches or something.
Let me get it up, actually. Actually, a bit of a note
It was
here.
9 or 10.
Yeah, Rebellion 1999 was actually the first pay-per-view I actually got on VHS.
Well, how about it? Sorry.
Oh, it wasn't the first one I saw. Like I said, Judgment Day 2000 was the first. Yeah. I'm just getting it up now. Rebellion 1999... 11 matches.
Oh wow! It was 11.
Oh, sorry, 10. One was a dark match.
Oh, well, I thought it was 10 overall, so yeah. I was still close.
Absolutely, and you were right. It was October the 2nd.
Oh shit!
In Birmingham, England.
Okay.
Ironically,
I'm trying to remember because I have a feeling I wanted to say Austin, but I don't think it was Austin. And I know it wasn't Vince McMahon, because that wouldn't be till December, and that wasn't even for the championship anyways.
Actually, Triple H and Vince went at it on SmackDown for the title.
No, yeah, but that was in September.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when they had like a pay-per-view match.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
that was at Armageddon, and that wasn't for the championship, so... Oh, shit. I'm gonna have to use my failsafe for this one, honestly, because they already had something building up, and I guess this was just signs of what were to come the next year, so I want to say The Rock?
Is that your final answer?
Can I say yes? That's my final answer?
If you want to say yes, that's up to you. Is that your final answer, though?
Oh, fuck. Alright, throw my cards in. Fuck it, let's just go for it.
So you're saying Triple H versus The Rock?
Yes.
Only half correct.
Only half correct.
Triple H versus The Rock, but it was a steel cage match.
Oh. I didn't realize I also had to get the stipulation, too.
Oh, come on, dude. You had to do it last month when I asked you a question like that.
Sorry. But yeah, okay. If you hadn't spoiled it for me, I would have tried to guess it, but you spoiled it for me, so now I know it's a steel cage match.
What do we do with that, then?
Well, what do you think? Do you think it's the fact that I got the participants should give it a point, or because I only got half of it, I should get half a point?
I don't really know.
Just do what you think you'd rather want to do. Unless you want to be like, quick, throw a curveball question in so you can get another half point.
I tell you what. How about this? No point, but if you can guess who interfered and actually ran into the match. There were two people that ran into the match. If you can guess one of them, you get the full point.
There's two. There was actually a match, and
the Triple H Rock Steel Cage. Two people interfered in it. If you can guess one of them, I'll give you the full point. If you don't get a point.
Oh shit!
I know who the two were. As I said, this is my first VHS, so I watched this a shit ton. So I remember who did the run-ins.
Where was one of them? Austin?
Is that? I'm only giving you one answer, by the way, because there's two people you can choose.
I have no clue because I don't remember, so I'm going to say, is it Austin?
Is that your final answer?
Is it Austin?
I need a yes or no. Is that your final answer? No.
Fuck.
The two run-ins were by China and the British Bulldog.
I wouldn't have gotten that then.
China, I think, if you just sat and thought about it, you might have, because obviously at the time... but yeah, that was a pretty hard one. But yeah, just for future reference, if I ever ask you what a main event is, I also want the stipulation.
Okay.
Alright. Interesting note, Rebellion the next year took place in my hometown of Sheffield, and I actually went. Watched the event live. Or shitty seats right at the fucking back, but hey. My first time at a live event. So yeah, second question, please.
Ironically, mine's also a 1999 question.
A lot of 1999 love tonight.
Alright, so mine is, prior to WrestleMania Access officially starting in 2000, technically it was something that started since the 80s, but it started carrying the Access name since 2000. Prior to WrestleMania Access officially starting in 2000, what was the Saturday event for WrestleMania 15 called?
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Because it was not Access.
Yeah, I remember it wasn't Access, was it? And they didn't use to cut the... tell me this, was the WrestleMania 15 one the same one, the same thing they called it, like, for the couple of WrestleManias they had an event before? I'm not explaining that. Like, is it like what they had for the fans a couple of years, a couple of WrestleManias beforehand, like 14, 13, 12, 11 and all that? They had, like, fan events, but it wasn't called Access, it was called something else as well. I was just wondering if it was the same one.
Yeah, it was something they broadcasted.
Oh, yeah. What was it called? Damn it. You're very good at coming up with these obscure questions, by the way.
If you think mine's obscure now, you should wait until I get to the hard one.
It's not so much I'm drawing a blank, it's that I'm not entirely sure what It was called... I've got one idea in my head, but I'm not entirely sure if this is correct.
I'll give you a hint. It technically had two words in it.
Well, obviously it wasn't Fan Access, was it? But,
No, not Fan Access. Like, it was something they broadcasted on TV.
Here's the thing. I was watching a podcast, I can't remember, it was a wrestling podcast, and they cover, like, the Attitude Era, and they were talking about this, and I watched it about 3 months ago, and it's on the tip of my fucking tongue.
Like, it was an event that had, like a bunch of, like, live singers, some promos from wrestlers.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, this was all on the podcast.
I'm really hoping you get this.
I think it was... It was something party, wasn't it?
Something party, yep, you got half right.
It wasn't WrestleMania party, it was...
Nope.
No, it was a small word.
Yeah, it was a pretty short word.
I can only think of two things it was. It was either Rage Party or Live Party.
Which one would you want to go with, Rage Party or Live Party?
Tell me this, is one of them correct?
One of them is correct.
I'm going to go with Rage Party.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Congratulations, it is Rage Party.
Fucking, I knew it was something party, but I couldn't remember the first word.
Yep, there you go. It was it was called WWF Rage Party.
Yeah, kind of glad they didn't keep that name. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and plus Access, Rage Party kind of sucked anyway. So
I didn't actually see it. Like I said, I saw a podcast and they talked about the entire thing while it was playing.
Yeah, like Access is a lot better now. Like how the way they do it is just a lot better.
I'll be honest here, I thought all three of my questions were pretty much average in terms of difficulty, so I didn't really have them laid out in any order. But I'll give you my last one now anyway.
Alright.
What team eventually ended London and Kendrick's almost year-long title reign?
Oh, damn. I remember this, because London and Kendrick had, like, the longest reign of any team.
At least for SmackDown tag titles, yeah, they were actually really good as well. They were really underappreciated.
They were a pretty good team. They were quite good as a team, and I think that's why they had the titles for so long.
Yeah, but they had it. Actually, I'll get it up how long they had them for. While you're trying to think.
The thing is, I think I actually remember this one because, I want to say it was a newer at the time upcoming team.
I'll give you that much. It was a new tag team at the time that beat them. Well, not brand new, but they were new.
Yeah, like they were new, but their gimmick was not new.
No, what I mean is they weren't. I don't think it was like they came in and then their first night they won the tag team titles.
No. When I mean their gimmick isn't new, I'm saying like the kind of gimmick they had was like old school thing.
Yeah, they were champions.
I want to say it was Deuce and Domino.
1 second. Their tag team reign was 331 days, by the way.
Okay.
Who did you say?
Deuce and Domino?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Motherfucker, he's correct.
It wasn't that long ago, so that's probably why I remember.
Mid-2007 they beat them. Nearly 9 years ago.
Yeah, I remember, like, it was like a rematch, too, like, because they faced London and Kendrick before, and London and Kendrick retained, but Deuce and Domino, like, faced them later and then beat them.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because I don't think London and Kendrick ever got the belts back, sadly.
No, because then the team mostly broke up, and then Kendrick became the Brian Kendrick.
Yep. So that's 7 for you. The best I can do tonight is tie again.
Right. So you better hope you tie.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling this one's going to puzzle you.
All right. Give it to me.
All right. The poster for WWF Vengeance in 2001 featured a wrestler who did not even take place at the pay-per-view. Who was it?
Triple H.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You just made my hard question seem like the easiest question in the world.
I remember because at the time I was like, oh my god, Triple H is coming back, because I was a huge Triple H mark at the time. And I was so pissed off to not see him anywhere on the card, or even at the show.
Yeah, it was him, though. Triple H was the guy on... I think because the plan was, I think he was originally they thought he was going to be coming back, so maybe that was like a tease. But I guess they had to wait an extra month.
Well, here's the thing, they do that a lot, because if you look at the thumbnail I made for the Royal Rumble, it had a picture of John Cena, and that was promotional, a WWE promotional poster, so... And he was nowhere on the Rumble card, so...
Yeah, because the injury.
Yeah, they just put whoever the hell they want on the posters. But yeah, 7 apiece, and I got the hardest question right almost instantly.
Yeah, and it reminds me too, like, one of the things that I always remember too, if you were to go on like Wikipedia, because I tend to notice they will always put like the poster that appears first, like one of the first posters, and then just kind of leave it as such, and they won't really have a reason to change it, right?
Yeah.
One that I remember always kind of stuck out for some very weird reason was the Great American Bash, and by the last year the last year that they did it was just The Bash.
Oh yeah, I remember them doing that.
When it first came out, like they had Batista on the poster, and then Batista was injured because he was an injury freak, I guess.
Well, it's Batista. What do you expect?
Yeah, so for posters that went forward by then, it was replaced with Jeff Hardy. And I remember the discussion panel a lot said, shouldn't you just change it to that since he didn't take place at the event?
Mm. Yeah, it's just something they do a lot. They put people on the posters who aren't even in the fucking matches, so... Or aren't in the matches, aren't even on the card, nothing like that.
Yeah, anyways.
Oh well, 7 apiece, and we will be doing more... 3 more questions for the WrestleMania podcast.
I need to go the lead at some point.
Same here. We've been fucking tied every fucking month. We've both only got 2 questions wrong in total since we started doing this.
It's crazy to think how the easy one for me was the hardest one for you, and then what I thought was the hardest one was the easiest one for you.
Like I say, I remember that poster very well because I got so fucking pissed at the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view itself wasn't bad. It was just the fact that Triple H wasn't there, and I was a huge Triple H mark at the time, so...
Mm-hmm.
Alright guys, well that was our little break between reviewing, because now we're going to jump in to the annual event that is the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I did watch the red carpet, which was pretty much just the pre-show for the event. Did you?
I'm actually going to be perfectly honest, I didn't get the chance to see the Hall of Fame, so...
Oh, like I said, I haven't made that many notes anyway, but we're just going to give our thoughts on each person that went in and stuff like that.
Right. That was kind of my mentality going into this, so...
For the red carpet, we actually got to see Maurice, who was obviously there with her husband, The Miz, looking sexy as always. Discovered King is actually married again, or getting married again.
Oh boy.
A woman probably in her early 30s, I'm guessing, with about a 5-6-year-old son who was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Orton was there, as was Steve Austin, that I made note of. And some of the last guests was Reigns and the Bellas. And that was it for the red carpet. Really nothing noteworthy, to be perfectly honest. Alright, so the show actually begins. We obviously get the whole big, legends are never forgotten type of speech and stuff, promo package that they always do for this type of thing. I will point out that this is actually my first time watching the Hall of Fame, so it was an interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
But the first inductee is the Godfather, who gets inducted by JBL and Ron Simmons of the APA.
I always remember that JBL was always a big friend to a Godfather, so it seemed like the right choice.
Yeah. As I said, the APA, good choice for inducting Godfather. What do you think about Godfather going into the Hall of Fame? I'm just going to do this for all the inductees.
He was quite popular for the time, and he'd been around the company.
His hoes were popular.
Well, yeah, but the Godfather himself was also popular.
Well, yeah, just not to the same extent as the Hose.
Right.
Yeah, he's had other monarchies as well, like he was Kama or something like that, I think.
He was Papa Shango at one point.
I know he's Papa Shango. I think I'm thinking it was his name, Kama with the Nation of Domination, before he turned into the Godfather. You know, he's been there for a while, let's put it that way. He'd been there for a good couple of years.
He was also part of Right to Censor as the Good Father.
Yeah, and then he came back for a short stint in 2002 as the Godfather yet again.
I think what a lot of people forget is, like, he actually headlined one of the Saturday night main events. He was Papa Shango at the time. He actually faced Bret Hart for the championship.
I did not know that, actually. You could have saved that as a question. I never even got it.
Well, to be fair, that would be kind of too... Because I kind of have a feeling you wouldn't get it, so...
Yeah, a bit obscure, yeah, I guess. I personally... You know, there's a couple of questionable inductees like Coco Beware and all that, and some celebrities that have gone in. Godfather doesn't really rate high on like the legend scale, but I think he's worked hard enough to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he was a well-liked guy as well in the back. Like, a lot of people... Like, he's... Like, a lot of people always... There's not very little... I don't really recall if he's... anyone really ever saying anything bad to say about him, so...
Pretty much. So, yeah. In goes the Godfather. Secondly goes in Stan Hansen, who was inducted by Vader. Now, I have very little experience with Vader, and I have absolutely nothing with Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Stan Hansen is one of those legends from, like... I think mainly made a splash in the 70s and 80s. Was around for some of the early 90s for WCW, but pretty much forgotten about by that time. I really don't have much to say here. I know practically nothing of the guy, sadly.
Yeah. I think... You know, I'm okay with him going in, so...
I will say, these two combined, this went on for a good 30 minutes, though.
Yeah.
Between Vader and Hansen, that entire induction was 30 minutes easy. Number 3, Lady Jackie, aka Jacqueline, inducted by the Dudley Boys.
Wait, did I miss an induction?
No.
You said number 3.
Yeah, the Godfather and Stan Hansen.
Oh, I didn't hear Stan Hansen.
We've just been talking about Stan Hansen.
Oh, no, Stan Hansen definitely deserved to go in. I said I was okay with the Godfather going in, I'm sorry, but Stan Hansen definitely deserved to go in.
I said I know nothing of Stan Hansen. 70s and 80s, it seems, and I know he was with WCW.
Yeah, sorry about that. I zoned out, but okay.
Right,
number 3, though.
Yeah, Jacqueline. Someone I do have memories watching. Dudley's... spend about 5-10 minutes talking. Jackie comes out, only spends about 5 minutes herself. Definitely, in my opinion, deserved to be in.
Without question.
Yeah.
For her time, she was a really good wrestler.
She would have been really good with the divas of today. Women of today. I won't use divas anymore. I swear to God.
You better not.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she was very limited by the fact that it took a while before Trish became good. Lita was still a little bit rusty as well. The only real decent women's wrestler she had at the time was Molly Holly, and by then she only had like a couple more years in her, and she didn't actually wrestle that often, so... It's just a shame she had to come around when her only real competition was fucking Sable, who, despite her legacy, was not a very good wrestler, so...
No.
So... in my honest opinion, definitely Hall of Fame worthy, so happy to see her in. Anything for you want to say?
About Jacqueline?
Yeah. Other than the fact that we got to see her breast once.
Well, no, not really. I'm just glad that she finally got her just dues, because she really deserved to go in, and especially because they were in Texas.
Former women's champion, hardcore champion, didn't she win the light heavyweight championship?
Maybe, I don't remember.
She definitely won the hardcore belt anyway. Number 4, the Fabulous Freebirds, inducted by the New Day.
which I thought was pretty interesting, just
yeah.
because that was an interesting choice.
The only two Freebirds that sadly are still alive are Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin.
Yep.
They tell a lot of stories. They also bring out the sons of the deceased Freebirds. They also bring out Kevin Von Erich.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, this went on a while. These guys got a good 45 minutes in total.
I'm not surprised though, because they were such a huge part of the wrestling scene in Texas. So
yeah, I think these guys actually got longer than anybody else. I've seen Michael Hayes wrestle once or twice. Never saw the Freebirds, sadly. Don't really have much to say about them. From what I can understand, like you said, they were legends in Texas and stuff. So yeah, I'm guessing for many people, this is sort of it's about damn time sort of deal.
Yep.
Anything else to say about them?
I'm just very happy for them.
Same. I know Michael Hayes has been wanting to go in for a long time. Always jealous of the other legends. Have you ever watched like Legends of Wrestling Roundtable?
Seen it a few times.
Yeah, and they'll always bring up fun of the fact that Michael Hayes is the only one usually there without a Hall of Fame ring.
And now that's finally changed.
Yeah. Anyway, number 5, the Big Boss Man, inducted by Slick. I have, by the time I got into wrestling, Big Boss Man was actually on his way out, but due to VHS and stuff like that, I've seen plenty of Big Boss Man's later stuff when he came back and joined the corporation. Didn't see much of his older, You're Doing Hard Time, blue-vested Big Boss Man stuff until much later, but I was actually a pretty big fan of this guy.
He was for the size he was a really good worker, and he had some good energy to him, and he was fun to watch.
Yeah, and when he came back in like 98, he lost a lot of weight and got in really good shape.
Yeah, like he had gotten a bit more fit for his size.
Yeah. Slick doesn't talk for very long. Pardon me. Also, sadly, in case you didn't know, Big Boss Man passed away a good decade ago.
Yeah.
And he is the first one, apart from the two Freebirds who couldn't be here to claim his Hall of Fame ring and all that. So his wife and daughters came out, and they also talked for about 5 minutes. So altogether, about 10 minutes for Big Boss Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we have our celebrity Hall of Famer, Snoop Dogg. Cena comes out to a big reception, talks for a couple minutes. Actually, doesn't steal the spotlight for long, thankfully.
No.
He like when I say 5 minutes, it really is about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop Dogg as well comes out, only does about 5 minutes himself, so 10 minutes in total. I'll be honest here, unless a celebrity's got in the ring and actually got bumped to hell and back, I don't think they deserve a spot.
No. It just kind of seems like a bit of a cheap spot, really. Like, it kind of just... It's like, really...
I mean, wasn't last year fucking Drew Carey?
Something like that.
Actually, that's a question. Can you think of any celebrities that's in the Hall of Fame, or have just been on WWE in general, that should be in the Hall of Fame?
Can't think of any.
I am honestly struggling to think of a single one.
See, if we have the same problem. We can't think of one.
Yeah, I think we both agree here that it's a wrestling Hall of Fame, for fuck's sake. It's supposed to be about the wrestlers, or at the most, you do it for the people like in the behind-the-scenes stuff that run the fucking joint.
Well, there was... Originally, that stuff was going to happen, but...
Like I say, if you want to get it to people that have been, like, in production for 20-plus years, or... always back there taking care of the guys when they come back after a big match. You should be honoring those people over the fucking celebrities who might show up once every fucking decade or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't like the fact that Snoop saw any other celebrities in the Hall of Fame wing.
Plus, fucking Donald Trump's in there. That's the big problem.
But then again, to be fair, Donald Trump's been... he hosted WrestleMania, what was it, 4 and 5 or 5 and 6?
Maybe.
5 was definitely one of them. I think I just can't remember if it was 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. As I say, he's also appeared at WrestleMania 23, I think. Yeah, and he was on a few Raws and stuff. He's actually been quite busy on wrestling, I guess you could say. But I can't stand the cunt personally.
No one really can.
Yeah. And poor America, they actually get him as their president. Jesus Christ.
Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll grow a brain and not vote him in.
Hoping so.
Anyway, next up is the Warrior Award. Presented to and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Joan London. Who is
London.
Yeah, yes. Someone who fights for women with breast cancer, I think.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this woman, definitely more deserving of a fucking award than someone like Snoop Dogg, who does nothing for...
The problem is, though, is that although she seems like a good woman, this still goes against what the Warrior Award was originally intended for.
Yeah, I personally have less of a problem with this than I did with the whole celebrity wing, but I know nothing about this woman. I've never heard of her on the news or anything like that. Obviously, you're Canadian, I'm British. We don't get American news very often, so...
Yeah, because I don't think it's that important over there, so...
Yeah, basically, she gets 20 minutes, and gonna be honest, I paid very little attention. I think I was doing something else. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm here to watch a Wrestling Hall of Fame, so...
Right.
And the last award goes to Sting, who is inducted by Ric Flair.
Because who else would have done it, honestly?
I think if Sting would have got first choice, I think he'd have picked Lex Luger.
No, I think he would have chosen Flair.
Him and Lex Luger are really close friends, though.
Yeah, I think Luger would have been his second choice. But the thing was, Flair always believed in Sting. He wanted, Sting... Sting means a lot to Flair as well. He pushed really hard to get so that's just for Sting to be the champion,
the NWA champion.
Yeah, Flair said he'd refuse to drop the title to others because he wanted Sting to win it. When Sting got injured, he's like, I don't want to let my title go in case by the time he's back I'm no longer champion. I want to be able to give him the honor of winning the title from someone like me.
Yeah, basically Flair comes out and acts as though it's him that's receiving the award for about 15 minutes, just goes on about him and his family and stuff. And I'll be honest here, Flair was a bit of a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Flair. If I'd have been watching back in the 80s and the 70s, I would have been a big Ric Flair fan. But as a person, he is definitely very egotistical, and there was very little mentions of Sting. He talked about his matches with Triple H, his matches with Shawn Michaels, his last match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and Sting was very rarely mentioned until he had to wrap it up and introduce the guy. But he went on for a good 15 minutes just talking about nothing but himself, really.
Yeah.
Finally, Sting comes out, gets about 20 minutes in total, puts over the business, puts over himself and the fans. Pretty much everyone, really. Everyone gets some love from Sting. And then comes the big announcement, Sting's officially retiring.
Yep.
Which I guess means we won't get that match that everyone wants to see between Sting and The Undertaker, sadly.
Yeah.
Can't say... honestly, that would have been a match I'd have been interested in seeing maybe 10 years ago. At this point, though, I think both guys are just a little bit too out of their prime for that to even ever live up to any expectations. So, honestly, I'm okay with Sting announcing his retirement. He had a decent match with Triple H. He put over Seth Rollins. I'm happy with that.
Same.
And that pretty much wrapped up the Hall of Fame. Overall... my first Hall of Fame experience, kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Most of the inductions I don't mind, especially with the actual wrestlers. Joan London, seems like a very nice woman doing a good thing. I've got no problem with her receiving an award, but as I said, I'm watching a Wrestling Hall of Fame. I kind of just want to see the wrestlers. And I don't agree with a celebrity wing at all, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up episode 4.
Yeah, that's about all there is to say.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a fucking issue. I've had 2 phone calls take place. I've accidentally stopped the recording once. This has definitely been a bit of a stressful episode, to be honest, and not because of either of us.
Yeah.
But coming up next time, in episode 5, we have the granddaddy of them all.
Oh boy.
And oh boy, does it feel like a granddaddy with how meh it was.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 32 is coming up for episode 5, guys. Hope you're gonna look forward to that.
Yep.
Because quite honestly put, we will probably have quite a lot to say and a lot to bitch about.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, any last thoughts about NXT before we sign off?
Go watch the show. It was good.
It was fantastic.
Really good.
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic show without question. It's definitely made me intrigued to go and watch more NXT now. So I will probably get to see more of these people in future. Really, really interested in seeing what they do with some of them, especially considering some of them will have been called up to main, because that's what they usually do after the WrestleMania, don't they? They call up some of the NXT to the main roster. If I remember, so... speaking of which, we'll see how Raw is tonight. But once again, I thank you. I apologize for rambling on there towards the end, and we'll see you in episode 5. Take care.
Bye.